guys in the dark.
I have been a part of Tinder for a while. I have had some pretty good dates and a few bad dates. There are three ladies in particular that were absolutely batshit crazy, and here are my stories. The first lady I met in New York City, Times Square to be exact, on a day that was just cold enough to make your tongue stick to a pole, but not cold enough to make you want to crawl up under covers and not move until June. We met on one of the streets. I greeted her with a hug. She had grabbed my hand, and then we began to walk to our destination. Now, at first, I didn't think anything about it. We ate dinner, had some conversation, proceeded to walk to another place. She grabbed my arm. We were walking down the street, interlocked like a barrel of monkeys. At first, I thought it was pretty cool, until she wanted to hold my hands on a day it was colder than Santa's nose. I wanted to stick my hands in my pocket and then walk through the streets of New York because they were polluted with people, as it was Super Bowl. She then demanded that we hold hands. No, you have to hold my hand. It's a requirement. She was walking pretty slow. It was really cold. We were holding hands. And I really wasn't sure if I liked her or not. I had enough. I let go and said that we needed to walk faster. She stood there in the middle of the block. She didn't move. I turned around and started a staring contest with her. I had to put my foot down. I didn't want to hold hands, and I felt violated being forced to engage in boyfriend-girlfriend behavior with a girl that I hardly knew. After about 5 minutes, or more like 20 seconds, that felt like 5 minutes, I turned around and then kept walking. She turned and went home. I never saw her again. To my credit, I told her that I wanted to take things pretty slow. Lady number 2. It's like the woman that I'm meeting on Tinder, just keep getting more strange. This one, I didn't really want to meet, but during all of my travels, I got really bored and found a match. So one night, I had absolutely nothing to do. I wasn't feeling like staying in my room, so we decided on a meetup. She was pretty cool. She had long hair, laughed at all of my jokes. We talked on the phone a lot, sent each other text messages for a day, and when we met, it was like I met one of the girls from BAPS. This girl was pretty nice, but she didn't have all of the marbles. We went out to a very nice, rather upscale spot to eat and drink. She proceeded to act like she has never been out on a nice date before. Think of those vines. She acted like a fool. The following phrases came out of her mouth. Can I snag these glasses? Regular Hennessy? Can I take this vase? I'm definitely an alcoholic. My brother bought a natty ice at 10 a.m., and if we do that, I'm going to stalk you. I think she was just playing, but I really didn't want to take any chances. I faked like I was tired, and then ended the date pretty fast. Lady number 3. I actually never really did meet her. In fact, I had forgotten all about her. I have a habit of getting matches on there and never sending a single message. But this one woman sent me the message first. We began to talk, and then we exchanged numbers. It started with a few messages, then a phone call. She cursed a lot, but I figured that it was just a New York thing. One day during a conversation, she had told me that she wanted to get to know me a little bit better before she jumped on my dick and let me screw her brains out. One day after I hadn't called her or texted her, she called me, cursed a lot, said the F word a lot of times. I was pretty impressed. I thought that she was a bit crazy. So not really caring, I quoted John Mayer, jokingly, which was a bad idea. She flipped out and cursed even more, started to threaten me, and texting me until about 2 a.m. It was definitely the strangest thing that I have ever experienced. I never met this woman in person, but I haven't given up on Tinder yet. I think I will never learn. I liked a few meetups with some of the guys on Tinder. Whenever I got bored with one dude, I would just move on to the next. One time, I scrolled into a profile of a guy named Daniel. Seemed like a really nice guy. He had served in the Navy, so I decided that it would be okay to meet up with him and see what would happen from there. None of the previous meetups ever prepared me for this one. The day we met, I drove 45 minutes to a hotel where I met him. The plan was to get some dinner, then spend the night together. I left everything except for my wallet at the hotel. We drove to Outback. Everything started smoothly with casual conversation and really good food. It was a normal date, right? Suddenly, his phone rang. He said that it was a call from his superior. He had stepped out. Right after he left the table, something had felt off about this whole situation. The waiter brought us our food. I texted Daniel to let him know that his meal had arrived. He answered me at first, but I waited. My messages stopped going through. I was all the way through my meal, and then I realized that he had ditched me. Paid for the food, walked outside. I sat on a bench beside the restaurant, called one of my closest friends so that they can come and get me. I kept thinking that this man probably had stolen my car. I knew that my dad would kill me because I had told my parents that I was spending the night at one of my friends' houses, not meeting some random dude at a restaurant. After I recovered from all the shock in my friend's car, I called up the hotel, told the desk manager that I didn't know the guy's last name, but I definitely knew his room number. Explained that I had left things in his room, wanted to know if I could go back to get them. She explained that he had checked out because they had emergency come up. When she went to go check on the room, lo and behold, he put all of my things right outside of the hotel room door. I did get my car back, though. Learned that I should probably investigate all of my Tinder prospects a little bit more next time. That date could have gone way worse. It definitely made me realize that I can't trust strangers from any dating app, even if they say that they are in the military. I once had a guy come over. He was very attractive. We had sex, and then went to sleep. I had to work at 2 p.m. the next day. I woke this kid up at noon and told him, "Bro, I gotta get ready for work. You have to leave." My room was spotless at the time. He started to get dressed. He suddenly couldn't find one sock. Accused me of stealing it. I was like, "Why would I want your crusty sock?" He started searching through all of my drawers, dumped out all of my dirty clothes from the hamper, just looking for it. Suddenly, I ended up finding it weeks later in my sock drawer. Kind of think that he planted it there, but I'm not sure why. So he finally starts to leave. His car got towed because he parked exactly where I told him that he should not. Looking back, I would have told him too bad. Got him an Uber, and then went to work. I drove him to the car tow place just so he could get it back. And of course, he doesn't have his wallet. I had to pay for it, sign for it, because he didn't have his ID on him. The car tow place doesn't take cards, so I had to go to the ATM to pull out cash. He finally got his car. I'm already like 30 minutes or so late for work. He goes, "All right, I will call you later." And I just told him don't ever talk to me again. He had texted me a few hours later and said that he had lost the stylus for his phone. I decided to block his number. I had decided to meet up with a guy at a bar. It was like pulling teeth. I tried to talk about travel. I don't see why anyone would ever want to leave the United States. I tried to talk about running. I don't know why people run for fun. Finally, he tells me something, as he says he likes cars. I tell him about my brother and how he just purchased an Aston Martin. Aston Martins are shit. I really only like Camaros. I told him that I drove an old Camaro for about 10 years. You don't know shit about cars. I don't, not going to deny that, but all I said was that I drove a Camaro from the age of 17 to 26. To top it off, he talks about no fap, how he tried that, but it just made him infuriated. He follows strict masturbation once every 3 days policy. As we had parted ways, he tries to go in for a handshake. I jokingly asked if he masturbated today. He told me yes, he did. I asked him if he washed his hands. He suddenly hesitates. I smile, and then I say goodbye, leaving his hand hanging out there. By the time that I got home, he had already deleted me from Tinder. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.